Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, cruise ships are calling. Unfortunately, I can't go right now. I can't even make plans because of my personal situation. But a lot of things have been happening the last couple of days. One is that the vessel sanitation program that the CDC runs for inspecting our cruise ships to make sure they're following safety procedures as well as, health, food, storage, etc., cleanliness, that has a chance now to go away unless it's fixed fairly quickly. We also have Australia and New Zealand sending their huge delegation next week to Miami to a cruise conference, basically begging the cruise ships to keep coming to Australia as they see the forecast dropping 40%, but there are some issues there with what's going on. Some really good news that happened for MSC Cruise Lines here in North America. And then, cruise stocks there last week. Oof, did they ever plummet as well? And then finally, let's talk about a vice president, not in North America, but they went on a cruise. And he was fired because he went on a cruise. So how much government money do you think he had to spend? Today's video is brought to you by Private Internet Access. I'm going to show you one of the big benefits of having a VPN besides the security. Remember, a VPN hides your IP address. It basically makes it safer for you to surf the web wherever you are, whether you're on your phone, whether you're at home, whether you're traveling around the world like I am. You want to hide your information and protect it from all those people out there trying to steal all your personal information. But besides that happening, take a look at this. I was trying to find a movie that I didn't get the chance to see in theaters, and I heard it was out on Netflix. So I opened up my Canadian Netflix account, and it's not there. Kraven the Hunter, it's not there. It says unavailable in Canada. So what do? Well, I log in to my VPN, trusty private internet access. I switch my location to New York, United States, and bam, there it is, Kraven the Hunter. I'm able to watch it today on Netflix that I couldn't have been able to do if I didn't have a VPN. So besides the security, it means I can basically watch shows from around the world that are restricted in certain countries. I can still get them when I'm traveling. A great perk to having a VPN. So that's why I use a VPN. Now, why did I choose private internet access? Well, for one thing, they let me do not 1, not 2, not 5, not 10, but unlimited devices under the exact same plan, which is a huge cost saving compared to some of the other VPNs out there. So if you'd like to try private internet access, why not hit my link down below and get up to 83% off your subscription and 4 months free. Thanks again to Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video. So just last week, the Food and Drug Administration had their cutbacks. They basically had thousands of jobs laid off, and one of those programs is the vessel sanitation program. That's the one that twice a year cruise ships can be boarded by inspectors from the CDC, and they are tested for cleanliness, food storage, cleaning procedures, health procedures, etc. And those are those scores we report out to you once in a while when the cruise ships almost fail, or if they do fail. Anything above a passing grade is, certain score is really good, 90 and above. Anything 85 and below, 84, those are scores you want to be worried about. That's when you hear about flies on food and proper mixing of food on counters like beef, chicken, and fish all on the same counter being mixed together. For people who have allergies and that's a horrible situation. And so with the cutbacks, they say, well, they haven't cut back the actual VSP, the vessel sanitation program. They have cut back the staff that run it, which means at this time they may not be able to continue inspecting the cruise ships, or at least not all the cruise ships like they currently do. However, the finance minister has come out and said that some places were cut that shouldn't have been cut. Some money has done this, some money has done that. and we will be reinstating some of these things, or we will be moving it to a different department to run it. So here's our hope that the vessel sanitation program does not go away. While cruise ships will probably still try and maintain a really high standard for safety and food, they don't want outbreaks of food poisoning or anything on their cruise ships, or being known as dirty cruise ships. I would feel better having that third-party inspection going on, so we know that cruise ships are striving to hit those goals whenever they have these blind inspections. Let's hope that does continue. Next week, we have the Sea Trade Global is happening in Miami, where all the cruise industry experts are getting together. And yeah, I had to cancel my trip. I was going as well, but I had to cancel my trip in case they call me for surgery this week or next week. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that. However, Australia and New Zealand, or Australasia it's called, because it's part of that whole area, is sending their largest delegation they've ever sent to this area because of the growing discontent among the tourist industry in Australia and New Zealand, while they're saying, you know, places like Singapore builds a brand new terminal that can hold 2, Oasis class, Icon class cruise ships. They're expanding. Meanwhile, in Sydney, for 20 years, they've been debating whether or not to be able to have another cruise terminal away from where the bridge is, so the bigger cruise ships don't have to try and get under that bridge. However, they were looking at it again and said, you know what we need to do? We need to build it? No, we need to do another study to see if there's another area we can put the cruise ship. As if over 20 years, they haven't noticed a place where this cruise line terminal could go. Right? I mean, it's government red tape, plus the exorbitant costs of home porting in those destinations like Sydney and New Zealand is over double the cost of places like New York and Miami, plus ongoing expenses of having to clean your hulls, etc., that you don't have to do going into the Caribbean. So they noticed that in 2023, they had a high benchmark of how many cruise ships were there, and now forecasted for 2026, just 2 years later, a 40% decline in the cruise industry in Australia, New Zealand. That's not a good sign for anybody there who relies on these ships for a living. Next, we have MSC had reason to celebrate, as not only did they open their cruise port in Barcelona just a few weeks ago, they have now officially launched the Miami cruise terminal, which is also the largest cruise terminal in the world, one of the most eco-friendly cruise terminals in the world. It can hold 4 cruise ships at once, but they will generally be holding 2 to 3 spots for their own ships, and then they'll be having other cruise lines be able to share the 4th terminal as Miami is continues to grow and grow and grow. So great news for MSC there going on in Miami. Next, let's talk about the cruise stock, folks. After the big announcements that happened on the 2nd from the government in the United States and the responses from other governments, I'm not going to get into the details, good or bad, or anything. I'm just going to report the news. And cruise stocks were also one of those big hits in the stock market. In fact, in 2 days, NCL Cruise Lines lost 15% of their stock price overnight. So yeah, that's a big drop from about $19.50 to about $15.50. That's a huge loss in the stock market if you're hanging on to your cruise stock. And one of the big things about this is that the cruise line stocks were just starting to get up to where they were before the COVID hit, and now boom, back down they go. It's like a roller coaster. But if you're in the stock market, you should be in it for the long haul, not the short haul, because this kind of stuff happens all the time. And finally, let's talk about the Iranian Vice President of Finance. Well, the president just fired him. Out and out fired him because he took a luxury cruise to Antarctica with his wife. And the president said, this is undefensible. You cannot defend him doing this. Going on this ultra luxury cruise with his wife while they having economic hardships in Iran. And so he's fired him, gone, you're gone. You shouldn't have done this. So I thought to myself, man, he must have spent a ton of government money on this, and that's why he's gone, right? You can imagine the outroar here in Canada, United States, if, you know, we're approaching a recession or anything like that, and one of our officials goes on a luxury trip, all cost to the government. Well, I was surprised to learn that not $1 came from the Iranian government. This gentleman financed his whole trip on his own, with his own money, paid for it himself, and he still was fired. Because government officials should not be seen doing extravagant things like going on luxury cruises while the rest of the government, while the rest of the country is in financial hardship. That's what's happening in Iran. And I was kind of shocked to see that. Crazy how different parts of the world react completely different. Well, let me know, did you lose a lot of money in the stock market the other day? Will it be short-lived? Will it be long-lived? Who knows? We're just living in a time right now where we don't know. And it's out of our control. But the one worrying thing for me is that CDC possibility of not doing vehicle ship inspections. That is concerning to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And until next time, I hope you liked this video. You did? Please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.